G'day friends, welcome to today's YouTube video. Before I start, I just wanted to let you know that this is going to be entirely a clip show of like the most random little tidbits from my holiday to Australia over Christmas. Just to let you know, this is probably more for me and my family than it is for anybody else. I still wanted to share it anyway, just if you're curious to see what we got up to. But the first part is from the little mini camera, Elijah's mini cam, just a whole little montage of pretty much Southwest rocks. And then after that, there's like a 10-minute version of the entire holiday from when I arrived until when I left. And let me just tell you, I did not set out to vlog it. It was just random clips and there's about 10 minutes worth. So I've tried to edit it together in some kind of narrative. It really doesn't make too much sense and some shots are just close-ups of food, but hopefully you enjoy it nonetheless. Right at the end of the video, if you want to skip straight to that, if you're just here for the journaling, I am finishing up my Australia journal and I will flip that in a separate video, a music only one and a chatty flip, and I'll flip Elijah's there as well. So if you're curious to see that, hang out for that one. Otherwise, this is just my holiday.
Wall. baby said that they don't got a future like it burns. So give him something worse to kill his head with, make him forget somehow. Might be that another day she would have wished he stayed, but they're done. Sorry's won't be enough this time. Yeah, he's calling all his friends to get some action and distract him right now. He's fine, got Lucy on the line, let's get this started. Where's the party tonight? I feel good, nothing weighs me down. I can't believe my luck right now. Red eyes while he said, don't you wanna have fun? Fool around with someone. Don't you wanna have fun? Never mind my dumb heart, it needs a little kickstart. Gotta feel free sometimes, right? What doesn't make you will only make you stronger if you believe what they say. Might be that another day she would have wished he stayed, but they're done. Red eyes while he said, don't you wanna have fun? Fool around with someone. Don't you wanna have fun? Never mind my dumb heart, it needs a little kickstart. Cause don't you wanna have fun? Don't you wanna have some fun? Just make it go away. Can't take another day. Yeah, his baby said that they don't got a future like that. It hurts, so give him something worse to pass the time. Don't you wanna have fun? Fool around with someone. Don't you wanna have fun? Never mind my dumb heart, it needs a little kickstart. Cause don't you wanna have fun? Don't you wanna have some fun? Don't you wanna have some fun? Don't you wanna have some fun? I'm fed up with changes. Come pick me up cause I just wanna see the light. I wanna be weightless. Teach me to fly, I won't be coming down. Could somebody wake me up? I don't wanna be here and let the world pass me by. Yeah, I just see her face wherever I look. She's standing in the crowd. So let go, I don't want to, but I'm gonna try. When she left me, yeah, let a little bit inside. You know, maybe things are gonna be alright. Cause I just wanna see the light. I'm so sick of waiting and getting too restless to be in this dusty town. I've heard of this place where people forget and you get another try. So come open up my door. I don't wanna be here and let the world pass me by. I won't see your face wherever I look. I'm blinded by the light. I don't want to, but I'm gonna try. When she left me, yeah, died a little bit inside. You know, maybe things are gonna be alright. Cause I just wanna see the light. Yeah, I just wanna see the light. light.
Alrighty, let's get into the journaling portion of this video. It's going to be pretty laid back journaling because I didn't have a lot to do. I was just putting on finishing touches. Most of what we did, I did on the trip. So I'm going to flip those in another video and give you a whole bunch more chat about that, especially Elijah's because I love his. But this is going to be a chat about my holiday and all the clips you just saw. I did try and watch back some of that stuff. I just really know how to hurt myself, and I think I'm actually just a little too homesick again to watch too much of it because I was getting very emotional. And the other day as I was editing it, I fully cried at the end. I just was really going for the emotions there. But yeah, just seeing my family again. It's been over 2 years by that point that I hadn't seen them, so I was like outstandingly, outrageously, overwhelmingly homesick, and I just feel like I'm getting homesick again, not to that degree, and of course it's completely manageable, and I will be going home in November again for a family wedding, so it's really not going to be the end of the world. But yeah, I don't want to get on here and just cry through the whole thing, so let's just chat about the holiday and watch some journaling as we go about that. And I will say, because this crossed my mind, the other day I was realizing I had done a 2-year stint from home before, because I think when I came here in 2016, I don't think I went home again until 2018, which is 2 years. But that was my choice, and it wasn't. I wasn't not allowed to go home, so that felt a lot more manageable than the whole quarantine, lockdown, pandemic thing, which, you know, I don't want to talk about because I only like inflammatory topics when I want to make a big drama out of it, not when other people do. It's just a really bad topic to discuss. Everyone's got their own feelings and opinions about it. What's interesting to note, though, and I'll say this much, I didn't realize how different the experiences were here living in Southern California, specifically in Orange County. Make of that what you will. But I didn't realize there was a bit of a difference. You know, people's cultural attitudes towards it were so different here than they were in Australia. And I did notice that difference. In fact, I felt like it really put me into perspective a little bit. And I was like, maybe do I need to figure some of this out? Like, it's been interesting, the whole thing, to say the least. But as you know, Australia, and I don't think anyone's unaware of this, but Australia's had some of the most strict quarantine and border patrol laws. I feel like Australia's favorite show is Border Patrol. So even before the pandemic, like if you ever tried to smuggle a grapefruit into Australia, like you're gonna be hit with the, what do they call it? The heavy hand of the law? Is that, no, that's not a thing. It's not a thing. I'm doing this one and done, so you're gonna get all of this crazy today. I'm not editing and splicing together this because I just want to chat. I want to chat about my holiday. I should be able to do that without getting completely caught up, but you know me, I love to ramble, and I've already mentioned one topic I probably shouldn't have mentioned, but it was a part of it. And all of that to say, when I was going, I was fully expecting a 3-day quarantine, but they had just lifted that before I went, but then Omicron had just happened before I went as well. So I feel like Australia had a Freedom Day in December, but then they went right back into like testing requirements and everything again. So if you were around Australia on Christmas or like around Christmas time and you experienced some of those testing issues, I feel like they're kind of finished with that now, but my specific issue that I ran into was that there was not enough capacity to process the tests. So even though I could get the tests, some of the results weren't coming back for 3 to 5 days, which by that point you would have had to quarantine for that amount of time. And then for me, I had to have tests on day 1, day 6, optional day 12, and then the day before I left, which for me was like day 20. So it was just a lot of testing, and there was a lot of like stay in your house until you get your results. So even though there was a 72-hour quarantine that I was supposed to do, that would lead me up until Christmas Day, I got out of that, but then I didn't get my results until Christmas Eve. So I ended up being in a quarantine of different sorts, just until Christmas Eve. But once I was allowed on Christmas Eve, I went nuts. I went straight to Tuggerah Westfields and loitered, which is something that I've just done my whole life. It's, you know, I didn't have the Australian trip that anyone who was a tourist to Australia would want. I just went back as someone who just wanted to experience everything for nostalgia's sake, everything family obligation. Like I wanted to do all of it, and I wanted to be really boring and just not boring to experience, but like from the outside, it would look like the most boring trip in the world because I just missed all of that simple like family life in Australia. That's one of the things as an expat I feel like I really struggle with. You know, this story, everyone's story is different. I struggle with feeling displaced a lot, even though United States is a Western country and predominantly everything here functions in English. So I don't struggle to live here. Culturally, there are just tons of differences. And I feel like I notice that a lot, that I'm constantly learning all these things, and it just has to process in my head, and I have to filter things through lenses of like, well, just because that happens in your country doesn't mean that happens here. But that happens a lot. Like, I'm always kind of figuring these things out. So when I go home, I get to kind of take a load off and just feel easy and rest assured in the understanding of like, I know this culture, I was born here, I was raised here. But it was my choice to live in the States, so don't cry for me, Argentina. I do generally not have a huge problem with it, but I do feel displaced a lot. And then I think one of the other issues, which is just a beautiful issue to have, like it's sad. I feel sad about it, but it's the most incredible thing to feel sad about. I have a family that I really enjoy and that enjoy my company. So like, it's really sad when we can't get together because, we want to capitalize on that. If you love the people that you're around, you want to be around them more often. So I feel like that's one of the saddest things, especially like the nieces and nephews and, my sister, anyway, let's get into the holiday. I spent it, I would say, in 3 different sections. The first section is Christmas at my sister's. Second is Southwest Rocks beach holiday at my auntie's, and then third is home, kind of like I spent my early adulthood there. I was a teenager in a house kind of close, but kind of my youth home, I guess you should say, and that was with my mum. So I kind of split it up 3 ways. Christmas was perfect and fine and was what it was. It came with all the regular obligation to like make the pavlovas and to get everything organized, and everyone's screaming about things they need to get last minute. So I loved that, like just loved the chaos of it. Wasn't as chaotic as I remember in years past. I think, maybe the pandemic kind of softens everyone's attitudes towards expectation. Everyone felt very tempered with their expectations, which was nice. And I really, really did enjoy that. So we did Christmas Eve at my mum's with kind of some extended family. Bit of an odd bunch, but it was enjoyful. He was enjoying. What is the word? Enjoyable, nonetheless. Goodness. Just lost it. Then we did Christmas Day at my sister's. Now, my sister just built her house from scratch. This is the first time she's even had a Christmas in her house, and let alone host. She never hosted a Christmas before either. So this was really, really exciting. And Savannah, completely new, fresh baby. My sister's daughter, so my niece, that was her first Christmas altogether. So just like a lot of firsts happening, which is always exciting as well, because you feel like you're creating some kind of tradition, and you're trying to add in certain things, and you'll see what sticks next year. But I was just trying to encourage my sister to enjoy all of that and how it happens, and she did really well. I was stressed for her because I felt like it's a big deal to have family and extended family and like put on this whole Christmas thing, but she did it really, really well. So I was very impressed. That's that. I think I brought all of my presents, like our presents, I should say, Stephen, my presents, I brought them all over from the States. So I got to empty that suitcase, which was nice. But my family were very generous and gave me a whole bunch of stuff to bring back here, mostly for Steve. So I was still chock-a-block full in the suitcase. Then we went to Southwest Rocks, which is about, like, I grew up on the central coast of New South Wales. This is the mid-north coast. So I would say, like, when I was younger, it felt like it was 12 hours away. But I think it's relatively like 4 hours away from where I would live now. Anyway, like on the coast. From my sister's, from my mum's, about 3 or 4 hours, because I put in new highways. But it is essentially like a really sleepy beach coastal town. I always like to say it kind of got stuck, like it froze in the 70s and hasn't really, it's definitely, some parts of it are a little bit more modern, and they're really developing it, I've noticed. But it is, like, how do I describe it? It's mostly just about beach culture, but there's not a McDonald's for like 30 minutes away. Like, it's just a local kind of, and a pretty popular one at that. Like, it's always booked through Christmas. Anyway, my family's been going to Southwest Rocks for, I don't even know at this point, maybe like almost 50 years, maybe more than that, maybe a little less, I'm not quite sure. My mum's been going there since she was younger, and I've been going there since my whole life. It's funny because, like, it's a very extended family thing to do, but as families kind of age, and then the children that were once going with their parents get older, they go away, and then they come back with their children. So you never can really quite bank on like who's going to be at Southwest Rocks through the Christmas period, but for the most part, my family will at least make a visit. To me, Southwest Rocks was all about my gran. Like, my gran seemed to be the kind of defining memory in my brain. And so it was actually kind of hard for me a few years ago to even go to Southwest Rocks, because I felt like I just had a lot of memories that it was just difficult to process through a lot of that. But now I think because Auntie's moved into her own place, and that's kind of where she's settling now, and my family have plans to like go and retire there and everything, I feel like it's kind of taking on this new part of my brain. Like, I'm not writing over any of the memories with my gran. I'm getting to make new ones about Southwest Rocks that are, something else that I can focus on. And so that hopefully then when, the grand memories come back, they're just really, really happy and joyful. But, even a couple of years ago, I made in one of my vlogs, I think I'd even mentioned it, or maybe I had mentioned it to people and just never said it, but watching Elijah, my nephew, at Southwest Rocks with my mum, which is his gran, it was almost kind of like healing and cathartic for me just to have that experience, because I got to see him experience, like, I was kind of living vicariously through Elijah a little bit, and I got to see him experiencing the same kind of long-lasting, core memories. He was making those with my mum, his gran, and I don't know, it just felt very healing and very special to me. So I do hold on to that as well, and especially like I love having the kids up at Southwest Rocks, because they just add that element of going to be adventurous and play at the park and go to the beach and go on the swings, and I love the energy that they bring to Southwest Rocks because they just love it. So for me, Southwest Rocks was probably the thing that I was looking forward to the most, even though there was so much excitement with everything else. I wanted to go there also to see Auntie. I was raised with my auntie, just in case you don't know. My mum, my auntie, and my gran were the three women that raised us. And so this was even the first time that Auntie hasn't been living close to mum. So it was even weirder for me to like, Gran's obviously not here anymore, but mum lives in the place that I was a young adult in, but now Auntie lives in my summer holiday memories. Like, where is everyone even focused? Siobhan's not even in the house anymore. We're a family that are very much like living on the commune, always together. So everyone being a little scattered I even got like a little nervous about it when I went home. I thought, this is going to feel real, or am I going to feel like I'm not having the experience? Because I had a lot of expectations. I tell Steve all the time, don't get yourself too worked up for these expectations, because if they don't happen, you'll be disappointed. Then you won't be able to enjoy what you're actually experiencing. But I felt myself doing it as well. And I knew I was trying to tell myself, like, don't do it. But I was just so emotional about being so homesick that I couldn't help but want it. So I think I have a greater appreciation for why Steve does that a lot now. But yeah, we went to Southwest Rocks. It was absolutely gorgeous. It rained a lot, which is kind of unusual for there. But we did New Year's up there. My brother, I have a twin brother, his family was up there as well. And I had a nephew on that side that I've never met. And the other one I haven't seen since he was a baby. And he's really grown now. So Nate was like fully grown. And Ryan, I got to meet for the first time. They were doing a big camper trailer situation out the back. Caleb has like, we're just so different. We are really, really different. Put us in a room for long enough and someone's going to explode. Like, I would say after the age of about 7, yeah, because my sister came in, right? I was about 7 or 8. Yeah, we just totally like different paths in life. We're very, very different people. So it was a crowded house at times. My sister's family were there, my mom, like my sister's fiance, like his family came to visit as well. My brother and his whole family, I was there. It was a lot. It was a lot. I did enjoy it because that was the part of like family obligation that I wanted. I wanted to be in those experiences, but I just forgot that like it's longer than a moment. Maybe it would have been easier if it was just like one lunch, but we were there for, I think I was at Southwest Rocks for about a week that whole time. Most of us were there that whole time. Some people dipped in and out, but yeah, it got explosive at points, which is family, right? It's a part of the memory. It didn't feel like it at the time. I was definitely, definitely not feeling it at the time, but I did really, really love it. I love going to the beaches there. I'm not a huge beach person. I wore a rash vest because I just knew I hadn't been in the sun for so long. I barely go in the sun here. I'm always working in an office or I'm always like in the house. I try to get out, but I'm pretty pale. And I went out in the sun. Australian sun is different too. Like I was out in the Californian sun the other day and it was actually just really nice. No, I went out, I had zinc, like 50 plus on my arms and a rash vest. I decided to like put my rash vest up like this just so I could get a bit of color all the way up to the top of my arms. Completely burnt, like blistered, little blisters on my arms. Was that burnt? That was on day one at Southwest Rocks. All I'm saying is lucky the rest of me was kind of covered and the legs were in the water so you couldn't get those. A little bit of burning on the face, but nothing major. My arms just suffered. So from then on I had to be a bit more careful, which I really thought I was being careful. And usually I'm not that person to be careful. And I'm always the person that someone's like, James, why didn't you put on your sunscreen? You know you have this issue, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, I tried, still didn't work. I had a really good time just doing the most random things that we would do on those holidays anyway, which to me is like going to find custard tarts all the time. I did a lot of journaling up there. I was just enjoying that. I practiced my DSLR photography. Steve gave me a really quick crash course in shooting manual before I left. Can you believe I just don't know how to do it? And I've never cared to know how to do it. So I said to him like, oh, I want to give it a go. Like there might be some fun moments for the family that I might want to do. And yeah, I did that. I practiced at the beach the first time. That's where I got some gorgeous photos of Savannah eating sand. And then I went to the skate park and the mermaid pond with that camera and did some photos there. And I really enjoyed it. I have I guess a lot of what I learned on my holiday was to have a better appreciation for Steve. So he's loving it. But yeah, I don't want to be a photographer in the sense that like I have clients who expect anything from me, which is great because not everything you do has to be for capitalism. I learned that from a TikTok. I don't really know what it means, but sure. I think it just means you don't have to sell all your skills. Just someone that does. I was like, oh, that's nice. I guess I don't have to do that for photography. But, you know, the business brain gets in there and wonders, could I? But yeah, I don't need to. Steve's professional. But it gave me a greater appreciation for it because I was doing it for no money, just for pure fun and just to see what, and I was stressed beyond belief at some points. At the skate park, I thought I was going to get run over because I'm under the ground, like trying to get, and I'm so far away because I only had a nifty 50 on. So for people that don't know, you can't change how far you zoom in or out. So I had to get like 50 feet back from the skate park. I was in the trees. I look like a problem. And I was like, how do I tell everyone? Like, they're my nephews. Like, it's fine. I looked crazy. And I was hyper aware of how I was looking when I was doing it. And I felt like a mess. So anyway, photography. Do love it. I do still love it. I'm interested in shooting more on manual. I very quickly learned the limitations of my camera because it's just a Rebel T6i, which I use to film like really nice shots for my art snacks videos and for like flip videos, like my 5-year journal. I need to have a drink. Sorry, I'm getting crazy excited. And my voice will go. Yeah, so it doesn't handle a lot of low light situations very well, but for the most part I enjoyed it and had a great time. One of my favorite photos I took was Savannah's hand like this on her mum, my sister. Just because she's such a beautiful, delicate hand. She has incredibly graceful, fine motor skills for her little baby. And then I loved the one of Elijah at the skate park where I just caught him like just looking at the camera as he was riding past, like through his helmet. I thought that was really dynamic. And there was a lot that I loved, but I think one of the ones that I feel the most kind of connection to is this photo of Savannah when she was in the bath. She was having a sink bath, like in the sink that you do your dishes in, because, pardon me, all of us have little sink bath photos, and my brother and mine were at Southwest Rocks. So now she has her own little one at Southwest Rocks, and I tried to get my mum's hand pouring the water in there just so she could see her grand's hand. I know that I hope she'll be someone that appreciates that when she grows older. I certainly do. I love looking back at photos and I love capturing all of them. I believe in the value of photography and like capturing all that stuff. So, pardon me. Steve's kind of rubbed off on me a little bit, and I'm glad that I spent some time learning manual because it just felt like a nice challenge. And I think the thing that I also enjoyed was I didn't have to be good at it. Like, Steve has to be good at it. I don't have to be good at it. So there was no pressure to really succeed at anything until I show my mum those photos, and then she decides it would be great if we just did a whole family photo shoot at the end. Now, by this point, I think I'd had blow-ups with a few different people. So I was like, no one's going to want to smile at me behind this camera at the end of this at the end of this trip. Whatever, I'll do it just because you want me to do it. And then I said to her, I was like, oh, hang on, I need to blow my nose for a second. I was like, Mum, no, I don't want, I don't want to like have to be in charge of it. I don't want to be telling people what to do, least of all my brother. I didn't want to tell my brother what to do because this never ends well. And she was like, well, look, everyone's on board. Everyone's going to be good about it and it's all going to be fine. She gave us all these, she told us we had to wear these like matching coordinated things. It was what it was. The photos turned out pretty well, but I was stressed the whole time. And she was trying to make candids happen, which I was trying to tell her that's not how that happens. Like, you have to actually just live the experience and then I'll just capture it. And she was literally handing people balloons saying, all right, everyone play, like, race with this balloon. James, are you ready? I'm like, what is this for? Now I love the photos because they make me think of how crazy she is trying to stage a candid balloon race photo. It was so out of nowhere, but that's my mum. So yeah, I did the family photos towards the end, and you know what? I'm actually happy that they happened. And then I did individual family ones, and those were really nice as well. I love capturing the kids the most. I think it was so interesting because they're not really concerned with what they look like, and working with Steve a lot and being in a lot of his professional settings, like that's something we're always really concerned about is, you know, what is the final thing that we're creating? What are we portraying? With children, they're just going about their day and doing their thing, and you're just kind of capturing that. And I felt like they were always, I don't know, they were always doing something that was just interesting. They were always curious about something, and then you become curious about what they're curious about. So I liked that. I really enjoyed it. Do I want to do it for other families and for a rate? No, I do not. I won't ever say, like, maybe that'll never happen, but yeah, I'm very happy being an art journaler for now and very happy to, you know, be a dancer again whenever that happens. Don't think photographer is in my sights as far as a career path, but I am happy to help Steve, and now I have, like I said, a better appreciation for that. Anyway, of all the other things, we just lots of beach, lots of custard tarts, lots of tea and coffee. This is kind of the first time also that I've stayed at Southwest Rocks and I haven't stayed in the same caravan park. Actually, this is the first time that's ever happened. We've been in the same caravan park since I was born, and at least from my memory we have. And this was the first time, because we were staying at Auntie's home, that I hadn't actually, we had to go and make a trip to the caravan park just so I could get that nostalgia in. But yeah, it was interesting to be in her home. And the funny thing about her home is this is kind of where everything that has been from every different house that I've ever lived in, or like even my pop's house, like when he was living in Sydney, he was storing a bunch of stuff out of the property. Everything made its like landing there because we don't have the property out in the valley anymore. So everything was kind of unloaded and put into that house. And when I would walk around there, I had incredibly like stimulating sense memory experiences with everything. The journal, please, see you. Sorry. I've got the window open for some fresh air. Oh, it's the fire and rescue. Okay, so yeah, it was weird because I went through, you know, I'd turn a corner and there'd be a photo that I remember from when I was a kid being on a certain shelf in a house from like when I was literally a child. And when I went to the bathroom, should I share this? I was laughing. If you saw in my collage club, there were footprints in the sand. That footprints in the sand poem was in the back of the bathroom door always when I was growing up. And it was there again. It was in the bathroom. So I was dying laughing. Every time I go to a table and there was a little photo album underneath it, I would pick it up and flip through there and I would just see all these memories of all these different family members. And it actually just now is like a museum to all of the different periods of life and the different family members and their experiences growing up. Like, it has stuff from when my gran was younger as well, and photos of her when she was a child are displayed. So it is actually a really, really, really special place to be in. I think for anyone looking on the outside, you would think, oh goodness, it just looks like a 70s, like, it just looks old and kind of a little granny-ish. But it is just perfect. It was perfect to stay in there. I absolutely loved it. I do, however, have an issue with all the little Australian creepy crawlies trying to kill me every 5 seconds. Is the only thing I don't miss about Australia. Ever since I've come back to the States, I am experiencing the blessing daily that there are just no bugs everywhere, nothing trying to eat me, nothing I have to worry. When I was journaling, there was literally a spider. Siobhan was colouring in, my sister was colouring in a spider. Ironically, a spider goes onto the paper. I screamed. Well, I didn't scream at first, but I hate spiders. A spider came onto her paper. She looked at it, told me to look at it, and I was like, ugh, and then the spider jumped. Then I screamed. Same place I was journaling. This is in the backyard, just in the suburbs, like on the Central Coast. My stepdad was taking the wheelie bins out to, like, for the bin day, and he moves one of the wheelie bins. There is a red-bellied black snake coiled up underneath the bin. Only a baby one. I got a photo of it. I'm not going to show it because I don't even know where the photo is right now. I know I'm not going to feel like editing it in. But there was a red-bellied black snake, tiny little one, and I was just thinking, like, how lucky are you that it didn't get you when you took the bin, because the bin was full, and because it was full, he had rolled over the top of it, so he'd actually killed it as he rolled over it. Anyway, terrifying. Red-bellied black snakes are incredibly venomous. So yeah, that was just something to note, that's not something I miss. Southwest Rocks, yeah, kind of like a really great, it was almost like a museum to my family history, and I just absolutely loved it. Seeing Auntie was amazing, her dog, going out with her, and just, you know, when I came back from my last contract as a dancer and I had my injury, I stayed at home a lot of the time in recovery with Elijah, the little boy you see in most of the footage. He was baby, and, like, I don't even think he was 1 year old then. He was on his way to 1. And Auntie, Elijah and I were just like a unit that just existed on that property for the better part of like 16 months, like 12, 14, 16 months. So, was that long? 12, 14, about 14 months. So it was really, really special just to be back there and spending time with Auntie, because I hadn't seen her for so long, and to see her in this new place and to see her just loving it and just enjoying being there, that was super special to me. Everything about going to Southwest Rocks was kind of as I expected. Didn't expect some of the family drama, but I mean, I don't think anyone really does. And I just loved it. And honestly, I probably could have stayed longer, but I did want to go home to kind of experience some of that with my mum. There was a part of me that thought, you know what, maybe I'll spend a few less days with mum and I'll go back to Southwest Rocks. That could have worked out, but at the same time, I was really happy to do that third leg at my mum's place, because it turns out that she had a little bit more time off work than she was expecting. So we just got to do what we do, which is eat junk food, watch television. It is what it is. And it was so funny because Siobhan feels massive FOMO too, but she was over at my mum's every day anyway, and she ended up sleeping some of the nights too. So we did just like family stuff. Swimming at the pool. She gave me champagne in the pool. We were just finding reasons to celebrate everything. My sister's fiance brought over his new pizza oven. We did pizza in the backyard, like handmade pizzas. We did, going out to the entrance, having fish and chips, going to play at parks, because we always had the kids over. I went shopping at Westfield like maybe 6 different times, and every single time I would purposefully not buy everything so I'd have an excuse to go back and buy more. I think I went shopping for Steve's Christmas presents, got him a whole bunch of stuff that he did not deserve. I got him lots of, should I say this? I got him lots of, okay, I don't want to tell you what they are, but I got him lots of bonds. Bonds are very expensive. Australians know. And unfortunately, it is kind of the only thing that Steve requests, and he requests multiples. So it became a very, a very difficult task for me to go to Westfield in the end, because I was putting it off, and the more I would put off, the more I'd think, hang on, I should probably buy this before I run out of money. But yeah, I got him his Christmas presents and bringing all this back. He loved them. We went to see Come From Away in Sydney, which was very expensive. I think the tickets were like $180 each, but I loved it. I didn't think I had any interest in seeing a show like that. Absolutely loved it. Super entertaining. So if you ever feel like you want to see that, I enjoyed it. And I'm not someone that typically enjoys stuff like that. Musicals in general, I should say. Especially musicals without dancing. Like, that's a stretch to get me to go to something like that. Yeah, this is the second. The first one I loved was Hunchback of Notre Dame a few years ago. That was incredible. I think that had a lot to do with the people playing it. No, I saw an alternative version that I liked as well. The one I saw at La Jolla Playhouse was amazing. Anyway, this we saw Come From Away, which was really, really fun because it was at the Capitol Theatre, and then next to the Capitol Theatre is this, like the Capitol Theatre building, or the Capitol building, Capitol Square. Anyway, up there, and I put a few clips of this, there's sticky pick booths, the little purikura. I used to go to those when I was a teenager, like 15 years old. So, I mean, they have a long history with those booths, and I was really excited to go to Come From Away just because I knew that was right next to it, and I was like, I'm going to take my mum and we're going to go do sticky picks. And my stepdad got in there as well, so we were doing sticky picks. Just had a great time. It was a really nice time out. We also went wedding dress shopping with my sister. She said yes to the dress. That was really exciting to be a part of that. And I think we're about 30 minutes now. I should probably wrap it up. And my nose is going. I had the most incredible time. And I can't tell you that we did like massive, crazy, exciting things, because honestly we didn't, and that wasn't the point. I wanted to go home and just like soak up as much of my family culture as I could. And my family, like dull life family experiences, because I mean, that's just something that I miss. And I wanted to soak up as much of Australia as I could and eat as most of Australia as I could, which I think I was successful at. And I must have been more active than I thought, because honestly, I didn't balloon as much as I probably could have. I know I was looking a little large in some of those clips, but don't worry, we'll fix that. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely worth it. I do really miss a lot of Australian foods. It was everything I needed it to be. I don't know, like I said, I was struggling with a lot of expectation beforehand, so I think if I had to assess, was it everything that I wanted? No, I think it probably would have been different if I had exactly what I wanted. But I did eventually let go of that and was like, I just need to get everything I can out of it. And the only thing I would have changed is I just would have stayed longer. 3 weeks I thought would be enough. Now I'm thinking 4 weeks wouldn't even be enough. But then again, I think given the choice, I'd probably just stay forever. I love my family. I love Australia. I love being home, and I love experiencing all of that stuff, as dull as it seems sometimes. And, you know, I remember after my accident, all I could think about was, a lot of the time I'd just be tempted to think about like this life that I had, like traveling around the world and living in Japan and being on a cruise ship and going to different places around the Med, like all of this, like go, travel, you know, be young, be free, be wild. All of that was just still this constant kind of desire in my head. And through that experience, kind of in like therapy and recovering from that accident, I learned to be really happy with life on a much simpler scale and a much more pared back version of what I understood, you know, this big exciting life to be. Obviously I was still excited about what was coming in my future, and you know, I was preparing to get married and move to a different country. So I felt like there was still these ideas of big, exciting things happening in the future, but I learned to love like a really slow pace and a really, you know, easy lifestyle. Like not a lot going on, very slow, no expectations, no pressure. I think a lot of people would love that, right? But I got to experience that again. It's not realistic. I can't really live in that, right? You know, it's not like I could go home and just experience that forever. So I have to remind myself, because sometimes my brain goes a little crazy and it's like, why don't you just go home and do nothing? It doesn't work out like that. Although now I'm wondering, like, should we just go to Southwest Rocks and just never come back? I don't know. Maybe I'll retire with everyone else there later one day. But I absolutely loved it. It was exactly what I needed, which is the most important thing. My bucket was so full by the time I came home. The only thing I was upset about was that it wasn't longer. And the best thing that I have to look forward to is that I get to do it all again in November, and Stella and Steve are slated to come with me in November, and it'll be more exciting to show them all those parts of it as well. And I like taking someone around my own country as a tourist because I feel like they get to have a bit more of a personal connection to it. You know, it's not all like stopping at fast food joints and seeing all the sights. It's like you're going real places with real people who live in those places. So I feel like that's always more fun. I personally enjoyed that whenever I would travel, as if someone I knew locally would take me around. So I'm excited to do that for Stella and Steve, and I want to take them to Southwest Rocks because neither of them have been there. Stella's never been to Australia before. Steve came once back in 2015, and he loved it. So I'm excited to take them both and just do like an epic holiday. We're all there for my sister's wedding, actually. Did I say that? Anyway, yes, she said yes to the dress. Okay, I gotta go because this has been long. Hopefully you've enjoyed that. I'll flip those journals for you. I'll make a music-only version, just people who don't want to recap any of this chat. A lot of it will just be about the journaling because here's the story time. You know, hope you enjoyed hanging out with me. Thank you so much for your patience as well while I went on the trip. I know I still had content going up, but I mean, even I know, like, when content goes up but you know the creator is away, it's kind of just, I mean, I personally just see the difference, but I want to say thank you as well for being gracious throughout that period. I didn't get any, like, there was actually, this is kind of the first time this has happened where I didn't have anyone who had these big expectations of me be disappointed in me. So, you know, not that I let that rattle me too much on other days, but it was really nice to not even have to deal with that at all whilst I was gone. So thank you so much for that. Not that I'd be thanking anyone here who's watching that needed that. I'm literally thanking the people who would have given me the problem. Is that what I'm doing? I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I gotta go. But I had a really wonderful time and I'm just so grateful. I hope that even sharing it in some small part is like something bright for your day. I hope that you can take from it whatever you want to take from it and enjoy yourself. And I will see you again next week or whenever. I always say next week because I think people are watching these every Friday, but then I realize someone's going to watch this in 2 years. I'm going to watch this in 2 years from now and be like, I'm not going to see you next week. Maybe I just need a new outro. Why don't I just say bye? Bye. So aggressive. Okay, bye.